Hi, Sarah. Honey, I'm so sick, but I just wanted to respond to your video. I can't even think straight enough to respond, but I was like, I want to respond. Um, I'm trying to just think of a couple because you said so many good things, and I know you left me a video response, so I figure I'd kind of do it all on this one, even though it would be a response to the response almost at this point. I would just have to say, your daughter is, I think that one's Lexi, adorable. Oh my gosh, I love the little people. But I'm happy the little people are back in school today. My little person, at least. And all the little people in my neighborhood who've been busying about. Gosh, help us all. But, yeah, I noticed that you fidget, right? And and you move and you readjust and you keep I'm like, wow. And I wonder if anyone else has Sarah's I almost think it's some kind of a symptom, the fidgets, because I know I've never had ADD before, and my dysautonomia specialist diagnosed me with that since having the illness. I mean, I was the kid, I've never always been able to sit, and I was always a sitter too, but I think I've always had the appropriate jobs and stuff to where it wouldn't have stood out like yours, where I needed to be standing. I've never had like standing. I've always done like switchboard operator and things like that. I've never. I worked at McDonald's once. Yep, and I don't know that, but we were moving about. You know, McDonald's, you're moving, moving, moving. So it's the only time. Yeah, once I was a waitress and for a restaurant, and they also had banquet. But that's constant movement. But other than that, mostly receptionist, switchboard operator, things like that. Where the sitting, which really drove my legs crazy though. I would always get sick from sitting because of the pooling. Very sick. By the time I get home, I'm like, Mom, I don't know. My heart is beating so fast. So I always thought that meant maybe I had high blood pressure. But I would never have high blood pressure. Little did I know, no one ever paid attention to the pulse reading. They'd be like, well, you've got great pressure. Matter of fact, it's a little kind of low, but you got great pressure. But no one probably mentioned that pulse number was probably soaring, 120s and stuff, which is happening today. So yeah, I was a great student because I could sit and pay it. I'm great at paying. Used to be great at paying attention up until 3 years ago. It's great at it, which was so frustrating to me now. Not being able to pay attention drives me crazy. Oh my gosh, it really does. Because I took pride in that. That's why I did. Especially in college, I did so well because I could just pay attention. I don't know. Now I have it like it's hard, and I have anxiety, which I think is what the fidgeting is for you, and you exhibit yours physically. For me, my psychiatrist and psychologist and dysautonomia specialist, I keep mine internal because I have that patient trait. So I don't exhibit it physically, but mentally and on the inside, I am so disturbed. I always say I think I'm borderline losing my mind, and flipping out because they can't see me like moving around and doing all this stuff, but on the inside, it's always my favorite term is I felt batshit crazy on the inside. And so I was take Paxil for that, and I used to be on clonazepam 3 times a day. That's how bad it was. And also, go to meditation twice a week, and I have to meditate at home. And if I'm not doing well, even with my meds, and my two meds, and my psychiatrist will always say, are you meditating? I'm like, wow, every once in a while, I forget my tool. And if it weren't for the meditation, and because it's separate from prayer, um, and I'm praying, I'm just talking, but in meditation, I'm just calming the nervous system and shutting up, which it has taken a lot of training. It's so hard. Um, when you're feeling like you could burst out of your skin, and trying to bring that down is so difficult. And especially, of course, if your pulse is racing at all times, resting pulse, around 100 for us, you know, that could contribute to, that ADHD. And so, because when she said that I was like, I've never had that. I almost just wanted to say she doesn't know what she's talking about, but then she was explaining, and I realized that my boss had been complaining. This was right when they finally kind of pushed me out on leave. I was making mistakes, and I'm not a mistake maker in my work. In my regular life, my son got out me, but at work I'm very diligent, and I took pride in that. Because I'm patient, I make fewer mistakes on the job because I'm very patient, and I listen, and clarify. But all of a sudden I couldn't do that, and he'd be talking, I would just be off, and that's not me. Just be off. Didn't even know I was off. And then there came a point when I would say to him, I would go in the morning, and I'd be like, well, okay, so what are we working on today? And then before I left, I would say, and this guy's a senior VP, and I was his assistant. We did lots of very important stuff for the environment. I mean, stuff that was going to court. And here I am, and I would say to him after the rundown, I'm his only assistant, and I say, do know that I'm going to forget everything you just told me. And I wouldn't laugh. And I was like, I'm going to forget, and I'll be back. And I would go back over and over again. And I could be of no help. I mean, they forced me out of that job that I loved. I loved my work. I was so thankful to God for it. But, so that fidgeting. I hear my mom, it's almost time to go get my 5-year-old. I feel so sick, and car rides make me even sicker. She's coming so that she can help me pick up my son, which I haven't been able to do since before he went on vacation. So it's been a few weeks since I've been able to do the commute with dropping him off 40 minutes away, coming home, resting, picking back up. Can't do it. Even the ride is going to make me worse just with her driving. So the fidgeting, and then the progressiveness of it all. Definitely, because like I said, the ADD, I can't remember if she said it was ADHD or just ADD. I never had those problems. So, and over time, more and more things keep presenting themselves, which I'm going blank. So yes, on the progression. And then the fidgeting, and I want to mention that, and I mentioned your daughter, and and Easter, when the Spirit flows through, and there's a church full of people, and you can see it in the kids when they're filled with it. It's so awesome. But that's it. I'll talk to you later. I'm losing my train of thought.